All right, so we we made the icing, so you have it, and you have it in glue form. Now remember, glue has to drop just like that. So what I have done is I've put it here. You always have to keep the frosting um, airtight, always. Otherwise it dries out. It dries out so fast on you. So what I want to do is I want to get this now because this is too thick to use at this stage. So I want to get it into 2 levels of frosting. I want to be able to get it to a outline where you take your pastry, whatever you call it, you know what I'm talking about. And you just outline everything here. And the reason you do that is because you're going to then use the next level of icing, which is a flood level. And that covers the whole interior. If you were to put a flood, which is a looser type of frosting, it would just fall all over the edges. So when you outline it with your pastry bag, when you outline it, it stops it from overflowing. So you need 2 different types of frosting here. So we're going to take the glue, and I'm going to get 1 cup of glue. And this is definitely glue. Look at that. That is perfect. Now you do need to be precise on this. I so hate sticky. Anyway, we've got our 1 cup. Now to 1 cup of glue, we're going to put it into our bowl here. And we're going to start incorporating the water that we need to thin this out. There. So to 1 cup of glue, what we're going to put in is going to be 1/2 teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon of water. And the water does need to be warm. So I have a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm not going to start at the high end. I'm going to start at the low end because we can always add more water. But you have a terrible time if you have too much water, then you're trying to balance that with more powdered sugar. So better to start small, just like that. And then you're going to want to mix it up. Very little water goes in there. This is the consistency that you're looking for. It's going to come, it'll still glob a little bit, but the tracks, can you see those tracks in there? The tracks are not falling into that. They're staying there for relatively a good period of time. So this glue at this consistency is at the perfect stage for outlining. So let's take a look at adding some color. I'm using a Chef Master. I find this to be a very, very, very good product. The colors are very true. They're really beautiful. It's not extremely expensive, which is nice. But the best thing about it is that it is not, Alexa, stop. But the best thing about it is that it comes out in droplets, as opposed to maybe going to the grocery store and picking up one of those where you just pour it in. When you saw how much a 1/2 teaspoon of water did to the consistency of the icing, now think about pouring a lot more liquid color in there, now you have a problem with the density of the frosting. So let's take a look at this. This is, I always pick a fuchsia because doesn't that look red? I want red. And this is called super red. So I'm going to be able to do this in droplets, and the reason that's important is if I get to a color that I really like, I have a formula for that color. It took 7 droplets, it took 4, it took 9, but I have a formula. I can't get that from a liquid just pouring it in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what 5 does. Well, I want it redder than that, so let's go for 7. And what's nice is this doesn't change the flavor of it. I think I told you I used vanilla for the flavoring of this, but you can use any flavoring you want. There's so many beautiful flavors. You can use lemons and raspberry and so many beautiful flavors. Now that's getting to me to be more of a Christmas red, and it's still a perfect consistency for outlining. So let's leave that off to the side for a minute. All right, so we have our red, which is outlining, and I'm going to now, I made this plenty ahead, but because I have a vacuum sealer, I know that there's no problem with keeping the air out of it. If you're going to use a Ziploc bag, be sure to get one that has like freezer quality Ziploc, because it'll keep out more air. But if you have a food saver, all the better. All right, so now we want a cup of this. You really need to be precise on this, you guys. I'll always let you know when you can wing it, but I'll also let you know you're going to have a problem on certain things if you wing it. This being one of them. This has a little bit too much in it, so I'm just going to scrape out a little bit. Okay, that's good. I'm not licking my fingers because I like the icing. I'm licking my fingers because I'm a salt person. I'm not a sugar person, and I hate sticky. So I'm doing that. All right, so now we have a cup of glue. And now we want a flood consistency. And a flood consistency, we're going to put in 2 to 3 teaspoons. Again, we will start with 2. And this is per cup. Okay, now we want to know if this is the correct consistency. So if it's right, then as I drop it off of the spoon, it's going to take 10 seconds for the tracks to dissolve. So let's take a look at this, because if not, then I have to adjust it. So come on over closer so you can get a good look. Did you see how it dissolved? Let's do it again. You think that's about 10 seconds? Mm-hmm. I think it is about 10 seconds. but I want to show you what to do if you think it's a little bit too runny. This might be just a fraction a little bit too runny. So I want you to always make adjustments. Just because I say 2 teaspoons, there's a lot of variance, and the variances will come from humidity. They'll come from, is it pouring rain outside? What is the temperature in your kitchen at any given time? So what I want you to do is just pay attention to the tracks. The tracks should disappear in about 10 seconds. I think they disappeared a little bit too fast. So you want to take powdered sugar. Do not dump this in, because this has not been sifted and it'll have lumps. Those lumps will get caught in your piping bag and you're not going to be pleased at all. So just a little bit goes in here. Come on. And I'm going to just do this. Now let's take a look to see if that is enough. You could be very much in control of having this icing the correct consistency. Now let's see what the tracks do. Now that I consider to be 10 seconds. That's good. All right, so we have our outline in red. And now we want, I put it away. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I always pull out fuchsia. I don't know why I do that. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to want the flood consistency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See what I mean about having a formula? Alrighty. Looks kind of scary at this point. But oh, does it get beautiful. And you do want to do this by hand. Please do not do this in your mixer, simply because you're incorporating too much air. So you want to do this by hand. Alrighty. So we now have our outline. We have our flood. So now we're ready to start doing something with a red cookie. All right? Give me a second. Are you okay, baby? Yeah. Okay, we're not going to do too much more, and then I will be able to give you all my attention. How's that?
And will you play a pool game with me?
Yes, of course. I will do anything you want. All right, so our next step here is going to be filling the pastry bag. Now, what I did for a very long period of time, and what probably 90% of the people will do, is you fill right into the bag. I found a much better way. Because if I was going to go from red to green, I had to empty the frosting out into a bowl. I had to cover the bowl, and I didn't mention this before, but please notice my bowls are always covered. They have to stay airtight. So I would put it into a bowl, I would get it airtight, then I would go to the sink, I would scrub out, make sure I got rid of all of the red so that I could then fill it up with green. What a royal pain in the neck that is. That is just terrible to do. So I found a much better way. What you need is a coupler. You can get these at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Target or any place. They're very common. And this goes inside your pastry bag, like this. And you usually have to cut your bag. I've already cut this one, but you want it cut just to the opening. So when you cut your bag, lay your bag flat, get a scissors and just cut the tip off. And if you need to cut a little bit more, do. But if you cut it too big, you can't use the bag, all right? So you have your tip. and then I'm going to show you how to put your filling in. Then you put whatever chip you're wanting to use, and then you screw it on. Now this totally holds this together. It's not going to fall out and glob on anything, all right? Now, I'm going to take this off for now. I just wanted to show you how it got assembled, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this icing. So what you're going to do, I'm going to work with the flood first. I'm sorry, with the outline first, the border. What you're going to do, this is so slick. I can't wait to tell you it's so slick. All right. You get as much of your icing as you want. You pour it in. You do this on the diagonal, okay? Okay. Hi. Then you cut your end off. Now what you're going to do is you're going to drop this right in. And you see how the string comes out? You just pull the string, you cut it, and your icing is right there. Now then, get your chip that you want to use, whatever chip it is. Whoops, I don't want that one. I want this one. Whatever chip it is that you want, and now you put the top of the coupler on, and now you are good to go. Okay, now I want you to take a look at why this is important. I have outlined, let's just say I outlined my, my bell, and I might have done 10 of them. And then I wanted to go in and flood them or go to the next step of decorating. All you have to do is pull the bag out, cover the tip of it with saran wrap, and just leave it. So I want you to look at what I have done over here. Come and take a look. Here I have green outline, green flood, blue outline, blue flood. The same with black. I have got orange. Now I don't have a flood for orange. And, oh, come on, Roseanne, why do you need orange? Well, how are you going to make a carrot for the nose for the snowman? You need orange. And then I have brown, but I don't have a flood for brown because I can't think of any reason I'm going to have a full cookie in brown. But what about the reindeer's ears, or antlers, the reindeer's antlers? What about the bark on your tree, your Christmas tree? So you do need that. So what I have been able to do because of this system is I have all of the colors done. I do this before I even start decorating so that when I'm ready to sit down and decorate, I've got it all done. I've got all of the mess out of the way. Now I can just enjoy it. To tell you the truth, I did all of this like 3 days ago. I made sure that each one was wrapped carefully and airtight. I put all of them into a Ziploc bag, stuck it in my refrigerator, brought it out about an hour before we started this video, and they are a perfect consistency for outlining or for flooding. So the things that you can do to make your life so much easier are not continually washing things, not having to do that. And also when you do a coupler like this, I'm doing this. This is a number 1 here, very small opening, and that's what I'm going to outline with. Let's see what I've got. Let me grab something. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to outline a bell. So you need to fold it, and twist. And the reason you're twisting is that you want to get all of the air out of there. And then make sure you're at a start like that. So I know that the tip is ready to go. Now what you're trying to do here is one continuous line to outline this. So let's take a look at that. There you have it. Okay? Now, I want to tell you that is not as easy as it looks. It's really not. First of all, if you do have a turntable like this, it's nice to use. But if you don't have one, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't go buy a turntable, for heaven's sakes. But what you want to do is, first of all, understand that it takes practice. I'd like to show you my first one. Look at that hot mess, will you? Can you see it? You get a good view of it? Compared to this. This was after practice. This was when I started. Now, the nice thing about this is when you have grandchildren, Maverick,
Yeah?
come here, honey.
Hey.
Say hi.
Hi,
Tell them who you are.
I'm Maverick.
And how old are you?
4.
And how, well, almost 5.
Hmm?
And he's spending the night with Grandma Roseanne, right?
Hmm?
So when you have something that's a hot mess like that, the way you get rid of it is say, Maverick, would you like a cookie?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. That's how you get rid of them. So this does take some practice. Now what I want you to do, and nobody told me this, I just kind of had to figure it out. So anything I can do to help you, all the better. You have to stay ahead of the line. That's most important. You stay ahead of the line. Don't look down here if that's where you are piping. You want to start, let me get my glasses on. You want to start it here and keep your eye where you're going, not where you are. Keep it where you're going. Your hand will just automatically follow your eye. Now, if you are not confident on doing this on your cookie, and then touch it and you're done. If you're not confident on doing that on your cookie, practice on parchment paper or a cutting board or something, because you can just scrape it off and continue to reuse the frosting. That is not a problem. If you get it to where you don't like it, maybe you didn't like the way that came out, take it off. Just take it off. Those of you that have been watching my videos on floral design, I tell you the same thing. You don't like it, just remove it. Same thing here. If you don't like it, remove it. So, whoops, but don't drop it on the other cookie. So it's just frosting. There's nothing lost. Everything is gained, and just by doing it correctly. So that is our border. Now what we're going to do, and this is the slick part, you guys. We're going to take this one out. We're going to remove the tip. We're going to remove the bag. I'm going to get some wrap for it. So it stays nice. I'm going to put it over here with my other red. Now I want to do the flood. I want to flood this cookie. So once again, I am not going to fill the bag, because right now, most people would be over there washing the bag. Oh, what a pain that is. So on the diagonal again, you take the flood, pour it in, wrap it up. I am telling you guys, this is like a lifesaver of time. A lifesaver. Oh. Cut the tip off. and drop it in. Pull it out until you see color and cut it. Then you want to put in a different tip because we're going to do the flood. All right, so this is considerably bigger now, okay? So this is the one I want to use to flood it. So you put that on, tighten up the coupler again, and we're ready to flood this cookie. Now you can flood this way, but you can also flood this way. If you have your flood, you can put it in these bottles and then you just do this. It's really nice to do that. It really is. I like that. Fold it over, twist it. Whoa. And we are flooding. And then you will need a scribe. So what a scribe is, you can use a toothpick, you guys, but a toothpick is only about that long and you really don't have the ability to hold it like a pencil. But here you can. So what you do with your scribe is you're just pushing it into the corners where it hasn't quite touched. Now you're potentially going to have air bubbles in here. So what you can do is wait until they kind of show up, or you can kind of stick your scribe in and just shake them. Just shake it like that. Pop any air bubbles. And there you have a pretty decent looking bell. Now I'm going to let this dry because this is just the base coat. And then after it dries, it'll take a few hours. It can take a few hours to dry all the way through. But sometimes it doesn't take that long for it just to be able to be hard enough to where you can actually design on it. So I will put this aside and then we will come back and I will show you one other thing and then I'm going to let you go so you can try it. So I'm going to pull the red out. I'm going to cover this so I don't lose it. And I'm going to cover this because I'm going to use it again, but not quite yet. All right, so let's take a look at a holly. Now this is how nice it is when you have everything done, right? And it's already marked. This is my outline. So this one already has a coupler in it because I left the coupler in. So I'm just going to take this off. I want my outline. See how easy this is, you guys, to do? You just prepare a little bit. Now this is the same tip that I was using for the red. So what I did is I went over to the sink and I washed it. This is what you wash them with. It's a nice little tool that you can pick up, I'm sure, anywhere. And if you buy any materials for decorating, they always stick one in there. But it's really good. It gets in, it washes the tip out really nicely. So now I'm just going to make sure everything is down there and no air bubbles. Okay, so here we go. Okay, there's your outline. Now let's go to the flood. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to flood this with the green flood. But do you see how really easy it is when you can transfer bags like that? It makes life so simple. Fold it, twist it. Always make sure you've got the air pocket out of it. And flood. Just gonna move it over. Okay, now you've got your holly flooded. Now I'm going to show you how to get your holly berries on there. If you want to use a wet on wet, it really gives you a nice design. It really does. So you just drop your bag in. How come my bag always drops in unless I'm showing you? And this is a wet on wet. Get the air out. Okay. Now you're ready for your berries. And now you have your holly. There's your holly. It's so pretty, you guys, and it's really not hard. I'm going to show you some snowmen. I'm going to show you, actually, let me show you the snowman now, because I don't want you to ever be discouraged, because boy, I'm telling you. So hold on one second. I was really trying to get my snowmen to look like snowmen. His hat was awful, and worse were his arms. Look at that. Is that pitiful and pathetic? Oh, I worked so hard on it. Now that's my snowman's arms. So, if you start out like this and can end up like this, that's great. If you start out having trouble, but then you can make holly that looks like that, that's great. When you get on YouTube and you look at these women and the phenomenal cookies that they can create, I mean, there's some women on there that they are just pure artists. They are. But it's really hard in the beginning to duplicate that. I love this. I'm enjoying this to no end. But I'm also taking it in gradual steps. These two things are so elementary. They're so simple. They really are. And it's something that we can learn and build on. But it's like anything else. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing. There is a level of graduating to that next level of expertise. Nobody starts up here. And those women that I'm watching that I would kill to be able to do what they do with decorating a cookie, they didn't start out up there. They started out right here with you and me. So I guess the main thing is enjoy the process. Have fun with it. Don't do it all in one day. Don't bake the cookie, cool the cookie, make the frosting, get your different levels of frosting correct, color it, and then try to decorate it. I mean, if you can do all that in one day, you're superhuman, ladies, and I'm telling you that is not what I could do. And when I tried to do it, my end result was not very successful, and I was very tired. So it was not joyful. This has been a labor of love. It has. So what I want you to do is just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Try it. It's fun. It's rewarding. I'm excited about my holly. I know my snowman still needs a lot of work, but he's so much better than he was. And if we just, no matter what it is in life that we do, it doesn't matter. If each time you attempt, you have learned something, and maybe what you learned was, man, I'll never do it that way again. And that's a possibility, but it's also a learning step. So with that being said, I will say happy holidays to you, Merry Christmas to you, many blessings to you and your family. I really hope you give this a try. I hope that you use my twirling method, because it's so much nicer than cleaning out those bloody bags. And have fun. I guess that's the main thing, have fun. So I will leave Do I need to leave? Yes, I do. I need to leave the measurements for the glue and for the border and for the flooding. I'll leave that for you. Okay, so that'll be in the description below. Please subscribe. I love having you with me. I do. Please subscribe and come back and let's have fun and send me pictures of your cookies. I would love to see that. And I guess I'll just say goodbye till the next video. Thank you. Bye.